I analyzed every single weapon in Elden Ring, from McDonald's forks that barely qualify as weapons, to boss-melting machines that turn Radahn into a tutorial enemy. I went all in. Over 1,000 hours of personal gameplay. Watched hours of YouTube videos, dove into Reddit hellholes, and even plugged in AI to build the most objective, no bullshit weapon ranking you've ever seen. At the end of this video, you'll know exactly which weapons are the best in Elden Ring. So grab a snack, get comfy, and let's dive in and break the game. To analyze and rank every weapon fairly, we used 7 key criteria: damage per second, stat scaling, attack speed, status effects, overall versatility, boss killing time, weapon flexibility. This tier list is built with a PvE first mindset, roughly 75% focused on PvE and 25% on PvP, because let's be real, the vast majority of your time in Elden Ring will be spent exploring, farming, and fighting bosses, not showing skills and duels at the first step. And the opener of our list is Malekith's Black Blade. How many times did you die to get this sword? 5? 10? 100? Personally, I beat Malekith first try.
See, now that's some bullshit.
Anyway, the blade's only notable strength is its unique HP reduction effect. Land hits, and opponents panic roll like headless chickens. But bosses don't panic. Sure, you reduce their HP, but they'll still demolish you. This weapon is more about style than practicality. And it definitely has style. Giant Crusher. Bonk, 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 we're coming to your home. Bonk, 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 one hit and boss is gone. This song perfectly describes this weapon. You've probably seen this beast starring in early game one-shot videos, and for good reason. With S-scaling and strength and insane damage stacking, Giant Crusher used to be a top 15 weapon, but once the DLC dropped, newer strength weapons stole the spotlight, leaving this colossus awkwardly sidelined. In PvP, it's clunky and predictable, but in PvE, if you slap on Royal Knight's Resolve and pray for a bonk, it still delivers massive damage, making it a true one-shot meme machine. Executioner's Great Axe. Looks like a butcher's axe on steroids. This pure strength weapon has the highest crit scaling among colossal weapons. Combine chunky base damage with the dagger talisman and boom! You're one-shotting PvP foes, staggering bosses quickly and deleting mobs effortlessly. One problem: you must crit, meaning ripostes, backstabs, or staggering. All require actual skill, something not everyone has, hence the lower ranking. Euphoria. Ever wanted to drop an over 9,000 style nuke in a single swing? This is the toy for you. Its unique Ash of War literally slices enemies open and dumps absurd damage, staggers like a freight train, and looks downright killer doing it. Great, if mobs politely wait 2 seconds for you to swing. Reality check, the blade's shorter than a Fort Boyard dwarf, so you'll have to land a clean hit with its special move, Bolt of Grandsax. If you've ever dreamed of being Thor or Zeus, this weapon's for you. It boasts the best long-range Ash of War among melee weapons, letting you snipe monsters from afar with solid fate scaling, perfect against groups and PvP scenarios, and overall reliable for general gameplay. 2 major drawbacks though. First, no bleed or frost enchantments are possible. Second, while charging your Ash of War, your opponent has enough time to grab a beer, return to their seat, and still dodge your attack effortlessly. Great sword. Should we play the Berserk opening here? Nah, copyright. Absolute Souls-like classic. I personally cleared at least 3 from software games with no hits using it.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you something.
We don't care.
Insanely versatile for both PvE and PvP. Clearing areas with it is pure dopamine. Supports tons of builds, even bleed. No idea why people do this, don't ask me. Highest raw damage among colossal weapons. Slap on any Ash of War and it's golden. Now for the downsides. Weighs more than your teammate's mom. You lose raw damage if you apply status effects, and damage isn't always enough to justify its sluggish speed. Ranged or fast bosses, invaders, yeah, you're cooked. Already want to try it out? We have a complete early game build with this bad boy on the channel. Don't be shy, check it out. Black Knife. If you're into Game of Thrones, you're gonna love this weapon. This is literally the dagger used to assassinate Marika's son, triggering the entire war between gods. It has a unique Ash of War, black fire that doesn't just deal damage, but permanently reduces max HP. Arguably the best dagger in the game. Perfect for attacking bosses from a safe distance. Quick attacks, excellent synergy with Faith Dex builds. But here's the catch. The main damage comes from the HP burn effect. Its base damage is somewhat low, doesn't stagger, and demands precision. Perfect for sadists who enjoy watching their prey slowly die. But let's be real, if you're playing Souls games, you're probably a masochist yourself. Backhand Blade. probably one of the best PvP weapons. Insane attack speed, works great with bleed, frost, or even poison. So why so low? Simple. It sucks in PvE. Doesn't stagger. Boss fights feel like scratching a mountain with a nail file. Plus, as with most X builds, it forgives 0 mistakes. Your HP bar vanishes instantly. If you ever see an invader with this, just run. Great Sword of Solitude. Great Sword's beefy big bro. Shorter, but hey, it's all about how you swing it.
You're goddamn right.
For Giga Chads who prefer blocking to rolling, 80% damage block negation, so you just barely walk at the boss. Good versus bosses and trash. Solid swing speed. Cons? Ash of War is straight trash. Can't slap on Fire Frost. Also, kinda short for a great sword. Vike's War Spear. Do you know what madness is? No, not this one, but real madness. Owners of this spear know exactly what I'm talking about. The War Spear's unique Ash of War inflicts madness, making it a top-tier PvP weapon, especially if your build has madness resistance. Also, remember, it's a spear, so the range is quite big. Strong damage, great R1 and R2 animations, and breezy encounter clearing. Its main drawback, madness is almost useless against bosses, overshadowing other potential weapon enchantments. Spear of the Impaler. If this were list ranking weapons by sheer aura and style, this spear would definitely hit the top 3, dropped from one of the sickest boss fights in the DLC. It has a combo attack that turns invasions into pure pleasure and enemies into barbecue. Oh, and guess what? You can throw this spear. There's even armor in-game that boosts its damage. From Software clearly knew you'd love abusing this. It inflicts both bleed and fire statuses, so enemies don't just bleed out, they burn too. Seems like a candidate for a higher spot due to versatility, but there's one major downside. By the time you finish charging up your combo attack, your opponent can get a job, start a family, grow old, come back, and casually dodge your attack. DLC bosses are just too fast, hence its lower ranking. Ancient Meteoric, or wanna become Millennia's worst nightmare? This guy helps you with it. A giant space rock that makes clearing zones fun and bosses barely stand up. Its high stagger and burst potential can one-shot bosses with optimized builds, reaching up to 27,000 damage. However, by NG +5 and beyond, its effectiveness drops. The weapon heavily relies on staying close and timing charged attacks, which becomes harder as enemies get faster and more aggressive. The biggest issue is that its damage output eventually stops feeling worth the risk and effort. Bloodfang. The early game bro that you pick up at the start and can comfortably carry into the DLC. Solid base damage, easy to obtain and upgrade, and a unique Ash of War allowing dodges mid-combo. Plus, just look at that curved shape. Major style points from me. Built-in bleed effect is the cherry on top. One of the best early game weapons, if not the absolute best. Could have been higher on this list, but it's less effective in late game. You'll need way too many hits to trigger bleed. Could have dominated PvP, but its Ash of War attack is easy to parry, so you can terrorize early bosses and newbies, but serious players will force you to rethink your entire build. Mogwin's Sacred Spear. Imagine you're an ancient demigod, nobody loves you, you get booted from home, you try to make your own race, this is what you got, Lake of Rot Gremlins. Then you marry a femboy, he dumps you and takes half. Don't marry femboys. Epic bleed numbers, AoE mob deletion, boss melter on every NG+. Weakness? Targets need to AFK for 2 seconds while you wind up. Doable in PvE, impossible in PvP. Tier lists overrated. There are more big guns above. Wing of Estelle. People often assume it's only popular because of its flashy, exploding star Ash of War, and that's just what the trailer showed. In reality, it also has a ranged light aerial slash, fast magic-infused swings, and smooth, quick light attack animations that let you pressure enemies without getting locked into long windups. With 60 intelligence and proper talismans, it can reach around 750 to 800 AR, dealing high, consistent magic damage across most PvE content. But late game, it struggles. It can't reliably land full explosions on hyper-fast bosses like Messmer, and its effectiveness drops as enemy speed and aggression increase. In PvP, it looks impressive, but rarely connects, or fireworks showed an actual threat. It's also not an all-arounder. It fits only into strict intelligence builds, making it a niche pick for dedicated caster-focused playstyles. And now we're entering the tier of serious weapons, where you'll start seeing full explanations and full builds. But before we dive into the heavy hitters, make sure to subscribe, hit that bell icon, and drop a like to support the channel. It helps a lot. Claws of Night, Medieval Wolverine mode, no costume, just NG+7 and angry bosses. Pick them up and instantly think, yeah, this is gonna get messy. Bleed or Frost both erase enemies. Shockingly good range for claws. Lightning fast, monstrous damage, plus a ranged swipe so you're not birdwatching mid-fight. PvP feels like a controlled hurricane. Dash in, then hop, then enemy face plants. Why so low? They require real skill and timing. Got the hands for it? They're the top 7. Morai's Executioner's Sword. One of the most stylish, badass blades in the game. It literally drills foes to death. Style, damage, and killer animations. First playthroughs at borderline one-shot bosses, and the Ash staggers like crazy. With the right build, you can deal up to 12,000 damage in one full combo. Pros, extremely high burst damage, mixed physical and magic output, great stagger potential, and strong synergy with INT builds and buffs. Cons, you'll wait longer for a clean drilling window than Netflix waits for a new Witcher season. Starfist, Knuckles claws with near sonic speed. It's like bolting 2 bowling balls to your wrists and windmilling them straight into the D's nuts of any boss dumb enough to stand within 2 meters. Jump plus L1 equals instant bleed, and the stagger bar drops faster than FromSoft servers during a DLC launch. Every hit is music, just listen to it. Main gimmick? You can slap both Bleed and Frost on them thanks to any Ash of War. Plus, they dish out monstrous poise damage. Downside? Reach. You're basically hugging the target. DLC bosses like Mesmer jump around the arena like rabid ferrets, which is less than ideal. Rivers of Blood. Even after all those castration patches, this katana is still a nightmare for a lot of players. FromSoft usually tosses balance out the window, but this time they went full throttle and slapped 3 nerfs on it. And yet RLB suddenly clings to the top 10. Word is, if Millennia sees you using this, she'll stop boosting your levels out of pure disgust. But you don't need many levels. Its strength lies in its simplicity and raw efficiency. You don't need complex setups or precise timing. With Corpse Piler L2, you can clear mobs, pressure bosses, and dominate in PvP with just a few well-placed swings. At peak performance with a high arcane build and proper talismans, Rivers of Blood hits around 780 to 820 total AR. Bandit's Curved Swords. To complete the game with these 2 swords, you just jump. Press attack, repeat 3 to 5 times, go to the next boss, repeat. Congratulations, you just broke the game. Never got the triple nerf message, probably because From Software doesn't want to admit the jump DMG is broken. Hit around 750 to 800 AR when dual wielding with the proper arcane bleed build. Has insane attack speed, instant bleed procs easy to get early, and they stay strong all the way through NG plus 7. Just spam jump plus L1 and everything melts. But they have very short range, no ranged, limited synergy with buffs or spells, and in PvP, they can be countered easily by ranged builds or parries. But if you want to break the game with minimal effort, these blades got you. Sword of Night and Flame. This magical monstrosity was stolen straight out of Hogwarts. I don't have any other explanation for why it's so cool. First, it has 2 unique attacks with absolutely brutal damage. The Flame Wave hits hard and wide, and the other is a pocket-sized Comet Azure that melts a quarter of the boss's HP bar in 1 second. It's one of those few weapons that scales off all 4 stats, letting you wreck late-game bosses. Main scaling is from Faith and INT, meaning you can run buffs and spells alongside it. At 40 int FAI, it hits approximately 750 AR, and it feels even stronger in-game. Main feature, dual element versatility, plus long range, plus comfy playstyle. As for the downsides, like Rivers of Blood, this thing got nerfed straight into FP hell. Now it eats FP like Cartman at McDonald's. The scaling doesn't help much either, sitting at a mediocre C. If it had B or A scaling, it would have easily climbed higher on the list. Dark Moon Greatsword. After finishing Ronnie's quest, you're handed this beautiful beast and get an official invite to Moonbonk Corporation. From this day forward, your job is to bonk everything that moves. Hold L2 and the blade lights up. Then hold R2 and it fires a glowing wave that flash freezes enemies into ice cubes, faster than Sub-Zero. Surprisingly fast for its size. One-handed swings feel close to a claymore, and two-handed mode breaks poise even on NG plus 7 bosses. Charging gives the blade plus 65 magic AR and 100 frost buildup, which leads us to 7 to 800 AR in combined magical and physical damage. Once frostbite procs, add another 30% bonus damage on top. It has B scaling and INT plus 10, making it a perfect fit with spells like Dark Moon and other buffs. The biggest strength of this weapon is practicality. It works in almost any scenario. From your first run to NG+7, it rarely needs adjustments. Just bring 38 int and some points in vigor. Also, great in PvP. It has virtually no weaknesses. It was so OP that it got nerfed for 30% damage at patch 1.06. The only reason it's ranked 4th is that the above weapons are too broken. Magma Blades. Rare as hell, but worth the farm. Drops at approximately 1% chance from those lovely lizard bastards in Volcano Manor. These twin babies are hotter than Adriatalima at Victoria's Secret Runway in 2005. Dual-wielding Magma Blades unleashes a lava arc, leaving molten puddles under each target that deal ticking fire damage and kill bosses in place. Bosses aren't the pick of intelligence, so they'll just stand in it. Meanwhile, you deliver them 4-hit chains with physical plus fire damage. Each tick chunks poise, practically guaranteeing staggers. Moreover, they'll receive micro stagger from the lava puddle beneath them. With a 40 dex, 40 FAI build, you're pulling approximately 880 AR per hand, not even counting the lava that does its own damage and locks enemies in place. Downsides, it is short range, inefficient in PvP, and has a low drop rate. But all that is easily overshadowed by the phenomenal boss melting potential. Blasphemous Blade, aka a sword that heals you for causing pain? From Software basically gave us a weapon for passive-aggressive narcissists and sadists. It deserves its spot. After all, it drops from one of the strongest bosses in the game. Yeah, I know, you'll bring up Radon, Mesmer, even Millennia, but let's face the facts. None of them required a custom weapon to beat. Why is it so good? First off, S-scaling with Faith. In a 60 FAI build with buffs, you're sitting at around 950 AR. You heal off weapon hits and can build a full-blown, unkillable tank. All you need is Faith, Vigor, and Endurance. Your win trades just by out-healing your opponent. It's ridiculously hard to mess up. You can play like a canned meatball and just spam the Ash of War. In PvP, people struggle to break through your defenses. One mistake from them equals full heal for you. Split damage fire plus physical, long range. Everything about this weapon screams murder machine. Hell, I kinda wanna go play this build right now. Blood Fiend's Arm. And here it is, the absolute king, champion, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist, and straight up emperor of Elden Ring, making his debut only in the DLC. How do you think that could possibly top all these epic swords, ancient artifacts, meteoric shards, and demigods' weapons? The answer, an arm.
Huh?
A huge mother-effing arm. Not enchanted, not holy, not cursed, just a ripped-off mutant arm. It fits perfectly into a one-shot build, a bleed build, or even a fire build. In a one-shot setup, it shows out disaster damage and breaks poise in 1 to 2 hits. In a bleed setup, it procs in a single swing, breaks poise and opens up for a juicy crit. It has S-scaling with strength. Plus, you can slap on any Ash of War. Plus, it hits over 1,000 AR unbuffed. Plus, it breaks enemies' stance in 2 hits. Only downside, it weighs like the fat best friend of a hot girl. But hey, we'll deal with it. So there it is. We've covered everything. Pipes, blades, comets, lava, even a mutant arm that hits harder than childhood trauma. We put real effort into making this tier list as objective and brutally honest as possible. Not just fan favorites, but what actually performs in NG+7. PvP, and real sweaty boss fights. And just in case you don't know where to get the runes to build around these monsters, check out our previous video on rune farming. It'll get you juiced up and ready to swing. Drop a like, hit subscribe, and tell us in the comments, which weapon do you think deserves the #1 spot? I'm out. Gonna go one-shot some dragons with a rusty arm. See you in the next videos.